I just broke through on dimethyltryptamine. The first time I smoked DMT, it burned my throat. It made it ache. It made me feel like I needed to scream. I coughed in this random drug dealer's room again and again, yucking up my innards. I tried DMT again, but this time I listened. The DMT showed me how to inhale it because I was willing to listen. The DMT taught me how to breathe, but I did not break through. My dear friend turned to the most utterly perplexing creature I can imagine. A form of feline. Ears grew from his scalp. His eyes turned upwards in a form of demon fashion. Sacred geometric shapes uttered from the center of his being, projecting out vibrations of horror. I was overtaken with anxiety. Reality itself began to bend and twist on itself. Everything I thought I knew was an utter lie, a form of simulation that we are all playing. After this, I was terrified of dimethyltryptamine. Today I was at my friend's house. My inner monologue was kicking and screaming. It did not want to let go of its agency. It did not want to try dimethyltryptamine. It wanted to stay in control. It wanted to be the captain of my ship, the sailor to my soul. My friends were overtaken with anxiety and scary thoughts. Their minds were flooded, just as mine was flooded, with this monologue that dictates every action of our day, that we inherently listen to, that we have such a deep attachment to, that we call this inner monologue me. It is separate from this exterior world. But in reality, we don't have one voice. We have thousands. In deep states of meditation, I have had the experience of hearing every voice I have ever heard. My parents, the Cookie Monsters, my younger demons, every stage of my life, every person I have ever interacted with. It created an orchestra of screams. It was utterly horrifying. Have I lost my mind? I went through the voices one by one. Who am I? Again, and time again, going through this flow of thought. The more I connected to an individual voice, I was able to define it, understand the frequency it was going to take me. Each one of these voices had a set direction, a set path for my future. The optimist, the pessimist, the madman, and every combination your mind can possibly come up with was up there. And I was left with one question. Who am I? With all these voices, am I really the one speaking? Or am I just the one listening? Do I have the agency to choose my own words? Contemplating my own existence, that we are just this biological creature made out of thousands of organisms that are trying to find an equilibrium, a form of vibration to maintain, to communicate, to gather resources and grow. But in this moment, I realized all I could do was listen, choose which voice I would listen to, and which path I will follow. Whether that was a choice of mine or the divine is beyond me, but all that was left was the illusion that I did. And in this moment in my friend's living room, as the three of our minds were overworked by this inner monologue, day after day, being a slave to our own intuitions, I began to feel. I silenced the voice and I just observed what was happening. Not what was happening. I have no idea what was happening. Just really observing the experience we were going through. And by doing this, I began to be able to guide them and help them, make them feel better. But I really wasn't only doing it for them. This new inner monologue I was following was doing it for all three of us. As the night went on, and the more and more this inner monologue I listened to comforted my friends, it so did comfort the seed to my soul. I was terrified of DMT. I swore I was not going to hit it. I was not going to touch this mind-altering substance, because the deepest fear, the deepest insecurity that runs through my veins is the fear of insanity, the fear of losing my own mind, the fear of getting lost in madness, having no cognitive ability to differentiate this or that. The constant fear if I have already gone mad. Madness. It has been filtering through my mind day after day. It has been guiding my actions. But it began to fade. While smoking the DMT, time and time again in this room, very small hits, listening to my body, the boundaries between my body and the outside states started to dissipate. You will notice it. When you begin smoking DMT, you will feel the smoke expand your lungs. But hit after hit, it will no longer feel like you are smoking, because the boundaries between yourself and the outside universe are dissipating. The experience of unity, all the air particles around us, the photons that are brushing against our skin, all of it. Each hit, it becomes easier. I began to feel these deep vibrations, and through the ridges of the vibrations, they begin to come closer and closer. These vibrations began coming faster and faster. They weren't just vibrations of sensation. They were much more profound. They were sensations of light, sensations of temperature, sensations of feeling, all wrapped up into a single vibration that is consistently getting faster and faster. And these ridges between the vibrations are becoming mountains. They are forming into one all around me. It was as the universe itself was folding in. It was an implosion. Everything turned into a singularity of light. Yet there was no light, that all there was existence itself. It was clear as day. Then the universe was flooded with imagery. It was as I was looking at a Where's Waldo, all these conscious creatures that made up this mathematical wave of reality. There was a pair of long feminine legs without a torso or arms or a head, just legs dancing to the vibration that I was. This single frequency was able to interpret itself in every way imaginable. The words I am saying is a flow of this frequency. We are attaching associations with our pattern recognition mechanisms of our mind to identify different parts of this frequency. But really, these labels that we are putting on this frequency and reality itself are all arbitrary. In this world I was with thousands of psychedelic creatures beyond imagination, a form of cat smile with large, lunctuous wicks, with its eyes turning inside and out like a deep whirlpool that you could stare into endlessly. Each one of these creatures had a unique feeling, a unique intention, a unique purpose. They all wanted to communicate with me. I opened up to these creatures, and I was no longer the one speaking. Their divine knowledge, their divine wisdom is flowing through all of us, and I opened up enough to let it come out to me. I lowered my frequency to their level, but they were frustrated with me. They were disappointed with me. They had so much knowledge to share, so much to expand, so many ways to help me. But my linguistic capabilities are limited compared to the expansive forms of divine data they are able to transcend to me. They were so utterly frustrated with this fact, but I still opened up like a fountain. Words were flowing through me. I was no longer the one speaking. I was the one experiencing. They were teaching me about vibrations. In common day reality, we have this form of head voice, this deep inner monologue. And this monologue can be great for accomplishing great things, massive scientific endeavors, building monuments for humanity, even creating magnificent art pieces. But this inner monologue has this illusion that it is actively, has this agency over the direction it is going. It's doing anything to justify its own existence. And in this plane of the single frequency, this inner monologue of mine died. It vanished per se. Getting in tune with the most foundational level of ourself allows us to be a part of the flow that runs through our veins, that runs beneath our souls, that runs through the cosmos itself. We get caught up in these arbitrary games when people begin to start fetishizing this materialistic world with such strong attachments. It disconnects us from who we are. Socrates once stated that the first steps to wisdom is admitting that you don't know. I don't know. We don't know. At first, this sounds like an idea a stoner in high school could come up with. An idea that is so simplistic, it almost has no meaning. But the first steps of admitting that you don't know and letting go of these arbitrary labels that put boundaries upon what we experience allows you to finally connect to the most deep level of who you are. Saying I don't know is the first step to understanding the universe itself. Letting go, the DMT entities said. As I lower my frequency now with these words, it doesn't feel as I am saying them. It feels as their wisdom is running through me. This is not me. I'm no prophet. I am no guru. I am just you. The question that's on all of our mind. What are these DMT entities? Oh, how I have thought about this question. How I have asked some of the most accredited, scientific individuals that have pondered this question their entire life. I have asked authors that have written poetry about this question in deep dialogue, trying to articulate their thoughts. What are these creatures? Are they neural correlates of our own mind? Are we perceiving another layer of reality? I have the humility to admit, I do not know what these DMT entities are. And quite frankly, it is the least of my concern. If I talk to someone, I do not care if they are Filipino, if they're Asian, if they're white. What I care about is what they do, is what they are capable of, what we can learn from one another. Well, sure, it would be interesting to know what they are made out of, where they come from. Frankly, there is much larger questions to postulate. There is much more magnificent questions that we should be thinking about with the nature of reality. What can we learn from these creatures? Not what are they. If we put limitations on what something or someone is, we will never be able to fully experience it. We will never be able to fully learn from it, from the full justifications of what it can do. Modern day science has completed great feats, but often people are taking these concepts much too inherently. There's many different perspectives we should take. If we get stuck in one lens too much, we get tunnel vision and we begin to self-destruct. It is important to always be trying to obtain alternate perspectives. It's important to begin to construct different pillars of knowledge and science and theoretical ideas so we can test this, so the universe can play with oneself, so it can destroy oneself just in the act of curiosity, of pure divine love. This altered reality that I experienced was much more real than real. It was hyper real. It was as I was on the art app Procreate and I zoom in on a masterpiece, seeing the intricate structure that makes up the image, the pixels that create the gradient. It was like madness that found cohesion, synchronicity, the most pure form. It made more sense than anything I've ever experienced in my life. It seemed more fundamental than anything I have ever experienced in my life. I am not speaking from up here, I am speaking from in here, full wholeheartedly of what happened. I am not here to convince you. I am no guru, I am no prophet, I am no divine figure. Try it yourself. Experiment. Be a scientist. For all I care, prove me wrong. Do what is right to you. Language is one of the most fascinating things. After these entities demand again and again that I must expand my linguistic capabilities so I can communicate with them better, they were able to teach me so much. Often when we speak, we are so fixated on the words that we are saying, and not the way that they are arranged, the flow that they create, the rhythm of my voice. As I am speaking, there is a rhythm, there is a flow of music that is tunneling through me. I have no idea what the next word I am going to say. I am trusting the beat of the rhythm to create an orchestra that we can comprehend. We must have this deep underlying trust in ourselves. As soon as I was able to let go and truly understand this trust, this divine feeling, I could enter this world. We are governed by so much fear every day. This fear just totally encapsulates us. We are on such a high frequency. We must get more fundamental to understand who we are. I was terrified of dimethyltryptamine because I thought I would go mad. My greatest fear, my greatest insecurity is losing the marbles to my mind, the ridges of my brain unfolding, not being able to come back. But one of the most profound things happened with dimethyltryptamine. Before I was on the substance, I was on mushrooms, psilocybin, blue clovers that grow from our earth. The reality I was in was flowing. It was creating forms of altercations to the mental model I was experiencing, the way that I was thinking fundamentally. But after getting shot at rocket speed to an alternate dimension, as soon as I came back, I was clear as day. The psilocybin had left my system. The DMT had made me sober itself. So confounded with this, I expressed this from within. And my dear friend chuckled and told me that a few nights ago, when he was trying DMT, he was on a large dose of marijuana and was absolutely confounded to find how he had so much clarity after the DMT experience. It was as the THC itself left his system. This world that we can enter, you're only there for a few minutes, and it's more profound than anything you've ever experienced, and you come back perfectly fine. My deep-rooted fear of insanity had vanished. I had trust in myself. Now it still exists in my mind like every thought I have ever experienced, but it's as it no longer has power. I am no longer listening to this fear of insanity. I have been free from the shackles that had grounded my soul. And now I am here telling you my story, my experience. This does not feel as I am acting on Max's will. It feels as I am just following a flow, and now it's midnight and I am talking to a camera. I truly hope you were able to gain something from this video. Do not take my word for it. Try it yourself. Be a self-critic. Be a skeptimist. Be your own explorer. Trust thyself more than the universe itself. Because the universe thyself is you. The meaning behind my words is unable to encapsulate the world that I experienced. It is reducing the magnificence into a way that you can comprehend. Postulate the unknown. Venture into the darkness with openness, because the only true light is the one that emulates from yourself. Trust yourself. Thank you very much for watching my video. I deeply care about you all. And my life feels as it's forever changed, a profound sense of confidence and flow.